Hello Plannerkate family, this is Jennifer and I am ready to film the highly anticipated 2026 kit detail video. So every year for Kate's January kits, that's when she sort of takes a look at her kit listings and makes decisions on any reformats that need to be made with the kits. I am happy to announce that this year there are minor changes in the 2026 kit lineup. That's based on the awesome feedback that we've gotten over at Plannerkate from all of you guys, and not a lot of changes are needed this year. And I'm also going to do this series a little bit differently this year. So usually I have one long video that has every single sheet that Kate has for her kit lineup. This year you're going to see this as the intro for every video, and then I will have a video dedicated separately to each of the planners that Kate offers kits for. So one video might be for the Hobonichi weeks, one video might be for the Erin Condren planners, one might be for Laurel Denise planners, and so on. And I might also incorporate some of these types of ideas in here. So for example, if I'm doing the Plum paper video, I might include my Plum paper spreads in the video so you can see how the stickers look in the actual planner. So we are doing that because I know with the mini kits that Kate offers, it's kind of nice just to say, hey, I have insert planner, like Laurel Denise, large, Nancy. Which kits do I need to get for that planner so that I know that they work? So we're kind of breaking it down that way. I will then at the end also compile all of the clips or segments into one video. So if you want to see everything all at once, you can do that. But I hope you guys find that helpful for this year. So you can just pick the video that you need for your planner that you're currently using and see what you need from Plannerkate. So let's go ahead and dive in. So let's dive into video 2 in the Plannerkate 2026 kit lineup series. Today's video is all about the kits that are made for the Erin Condren planners specifically. So Erin Condren really has 3 planner sizes. There's an 8.5 by 11, there's a 7 by 9, and an A5 size. We're gonna start with the monthly kit options, then we'll talk about weekly kits, and then daily kits. For the largest Erin Condren size, which is the 8.5 by 11, like their teacher planner, you can pick up these monthly kits that are going to work perfectly in your Erin Condren 8.5 by 11 planner. I'll show you what I did here as a sample in August real quick, so you can see what a kit looks like in the planner. I'll turn to January here as a nice little backdrop as we go over each kit sheet. So for your monthly, for the 8.5 by 11, you will be picking up sheet K1, which are the headers, and you have your day of the week stickers and your dates. The really nice thing about Kate's monthly kits is that this solid line here is not specific to a Sunday or Monday start. You get to choose by putting these individual headers on the strip. So Erin Condren only comes with a Sunday start, but if you like a Monday start, you can easily make it a Monday start with the monthly kits. So that is a look at sheet K1. K2 are basically your labels and my favorite, hello, and then the month sticker. You do get the holiday banners on these along with some black and white icons and some scripts. You have both appointment labels, basic labels, some solid labels, and some check boxes or check circles in this case. So that is sheet K2. And then the last sheet for the 8.5 by 11 monthly is sheet K3. And if this sheet isn't enough for you with the labels, you could pick this sheet up to kind of fill in for the rest of the month. I also like this sheet because it typically has a different color appointment label on it, in addition to the labels that you get on sheet K2. So in this kit, you can see we have the light blue. You do have that repeating on this sheet, but you also have this brown color. So if you like some variation with your label colors, this would be another good sheet to pick up. So those are the kit sheets K1, K2, K3 that you're going to need for the Erin Condren 8.5 by 11 planners. Let's go ahead and move into the 7 by 9 size. I feel like this is the most popular Erin Condren planner choice or preference. So I have mine here. You can kind of see what a monthly kit looks like when you have it down in the planner here. And we'll jump into the sheets. So for sheet L1 here, you do have your header. Again, just like the 8.5 by 11, you can choose a Monday, Sunday start. Technically, you could have a Wednesday start if you would like. You do have the labels, appointment labels, basic labels, holidays, and dates on this sheet. On sheet L2, you get your sidebar, your hello, and then the month sticker, the black and white icons, a couple different dash options, your scripts, some bullets, appointment labels, and basic labels. That is sheet L2. On sheet L3, you do get individual squares here that cover the dates not in the planner, and you also get 2 with an overlay, so you can use them basically as a full box option in your calendar. Then we're going to wrap up with some extras here. So sheet L4 is for the dashboard in the monthly pages. So if you're familiar with Erin Condren, as you probably are if you're watching this video, when you turn your monthly page, you do have a dashboard page. And then Kate does make inserts for each of these white boxes. So you can see in my July spread here, I used a lined insert on one of these boxes. Yes, one of the changes is this part that says January is not a separate sticker now. So when I put this one down, this July was a separate sticker with these 2 boxes being separate stickers. Now the label is with one of the boxes attached, and then you have a separate one. But all of these white inlays are the same size, so you can use the ones that have been out for a while to fill in, whether that's a build tracker or a habit tracker or a bookshelf. Let's take a look at all of these inserts. That way you know what goes in each of these boxes. They are actually part of what are called the KIT-XXX series. So they're going to show up in that video as well, but I thought it would fit here. They will be linked in that listing on the website. So if you go to like the dashboard kits that we just went over, and then you want the inserts, you can click that link and it's going to take you right to the inserts for this particular page, if that makes sense. So we're going to go over those real quick. Of course, you can see the ones that I have chosen here, but we'll go through all of the options. So let's start with these 2 boxes because these are box 1 and box 2. This is box 3 and this is box 4. For these 2 boxes, these are the same as I mentioned, and you can, mix and match however you need to. So 6A is going to be your lined option, which I have used here. You also have 6B, which is a lined option with bullets. 6C are the graph or grid inserts. 6D is a bookshelf. 6E are your bill trackers. So it kind of looks like this, but they're made to fit these 2 boxes, of course. And then you wrap up with 6F, which is your habit tracker option. Moving on to this larger box, I have washi over mine. You'll see that here when I show you the insert. So you're going to see these same options. They're just sized for this larger box. 7A are the lined option. 7B is the lined with bullets. So really they go this way, of course. You have 6C, which is your graph insert. 6D is like a vertical book stack. 7E are your bill tracker inserts. And then you wrap up with what I have used here, which is 7F, which are your habit trackers. Then we're going to wrap up with this horizontal section down here. We have 8A as the lined option. 8B is your lined with bullets. This has 3 columns since it's a horizontal layout. 8C is the grid or graph option. 8D is your bookshelf. This one, of course, looks a little different to fill the space. It has a little plant on it, which I think is really cute. You have the one that I have been using in mine, which is 8E, the bill tracker. And again, wrap up with 8F, which is the habit tracker. So that kind of goes over all of your options for inside of those boxes. And then sheet L5 are just more labels in case the labels that you get on L1 and L2 are not enough for you. You can pick up sheet L5. If you do not like this dashboard layout, Kate does make some 3/4 sheets and some full-size sheets that will fill up the full 7x9 page. And we'll go ahead and take a look at those. We'll start with J1A, which is this 3/4 size. So once you get this down, you will have room at the bottom of your page for this sticker right here that comes on the dashboard page. Kate does offer just this bottom box. That's what it's called, is a bottom box, and that is sheet J1B. But if you want the 3/4 page, you should go ahead and get J1A, which is this, and then sheet J1B would be just this bottom box, and that would fill up the entire page in your planner. If you want a full-size sheet that's just ready to go, you can do a couple of different options there. There's J2A and J2B. They are basically the same thing, the 7x9 perpetual calendar. This one has numbers 1 through 31. This one is just a lined option. And then if you want to add stickers to any of these, including this 3/4 page perpetual calendar, if these aren't enough labels, or you're getting one of these and want something smaller to layer over that, there is J1C, which are your 7x9 perpetual calendar labels. Last up, let's move in to the A5 size. So I do not have an Erin Condren A5 size planner to show you, but I will go over the sheets that Kate offers, starting with M1, which is going to look familiar. It's basically the same thing as the 7x9, just shrunken down for scale to fit that planner. So on M1, you do have your headers and your label options, holidays, scripts, and dates. And this sheet is specifically made for the A5 ring agenda. So if you use the ring agenda, this is the sheet for you. If you use Erin Condren's A5, but it's on the coil, so this is what I mean by coil. If it's on this, it's just smaller, then you'll use this sheet M2. So this first page really differs based on if you're using the agenda or the coiled planner. So make sure you pay attention to that in the drop down. Sheet M3 is the second sheet here with your sidebar, all your labels, some full boxes, black and white icons. You do have the option on sheet M4 to get those covers for the days of the week. And then this does have a dashboard option for the month dashboard that I showed you in the 7x9 size. and you can pick up extra labels, which is M6. Now, a change for this year is that those full page stickers like this one that you saw for the 7x9 size, these are only available in 7x9 size for 2026. There are not any A5 size perpetual calendars. So that is a little bit of a change there, but you do have these kit options, sheet options for the Erin Condren A5 monthly pages. Okay, that's gonna wrap up the monthly sheets that Kate has for 8.5 by 11, 7x9, and A5 size. Let's talk about weekly planning. As you know, Erin Condren makes a few different weekly layouts, so I will pull some of those out here and talk about some options that Kate has for weekly planning specifically. So Erin Condren has a weekly dashboard, a vertical, an hourly, and a horizontal. This is an outdated horizontal that I had from 2024, but I just want to mention you're not going to find like a Erin Condren horizontal listing in the weekly dropdown on the Plannerkate website. However, there are some sheets that will work in all of these weekly layouts that are basically versatile and made for lots of different planners on the market, which is what I went over in video 1 of this series. So like this sampler, you could totally use this in the horizontal. You could use it in the hourly. In fact, I would really suggest that. Let me just mention some horizontal specific stickers very quickly. So in that weekly section, for the main kits, you have sheets A, B, and C. Again, I went over those in the first video, but you also have sheets D, E, and F, and the sheet F are check boxes that align to the spacing in the horizontal planner. So if you're using an Erin Condren planner, specifically the horizontal, you'll want sheet F, and go back and watch that first video because I think that will be helpful too. But this sheet is made for this planner specifically. So if you need a checklist, you'll want F in the drop-down box. You could also use a ton of the add-ons, which are also in that first video. So if you need a detailed look at all of these, I think there are like 27 add-ons. Check that first video out, but you can pick up doodles that match. And I would suggest picking up one of the individual header options like A2, A3, or even A4. So those would all work in this horizontal layout. You could just cover those dates up if that's a look that you like. So there's for the Erin Condren horizontal. Let's talk about the Erin Condren hourly life planner next. Just gonna flip to a blank page here. The one that I have is like their neutral option. In those weekly kit listings that I talked about from video 1, you will want sheet D in the drop down for these checklists. These checklists align with the spacing of these hourly columns. And from the add-ons, add-on 1 are strip headers that will fit perfectly over the Erin Condren hourly dates. So if you need a header, A1 is your option there. Again, you can use a ton of these add-ons, so check that first video out, including things like this sidebar work really nicely over here, which is add-on 14, but you just have so many different options there as well. This is another outdated planner. This one's from 2023, but I know that Erin Condren does still have their classic vertical layout. So reference back, again, video 1. If you need sidebars, these work really well. Any of those individual date headers and so on. And then sheet E and your weekly kits, these checklists line up here. So you'll have 3 checklist option strips for this sidebar area. And then you get these checklists that fit perfectly in the vertical boxes. So those are made specifically for the Erin Condren vertical, layout. And the new to the lineup from Erin Condren for 2025-26 launch was their brand new weekly dashboard layout. Again, I'll flip to a blank page here. And the thing about this planner is that Kate does make a kit specifically for this weekly planner. So while I'm going to tell you that you can definitely reference video 1 and pick out some of these different add-ons and like your main sampler and all of that, you can make it look super cute. If you need just a 2-page kit, Kate has you covered with sheets -1 and -2. So you can see here for this week, I did use one of her dashboard kits with the headers and the checklist that are made for this layout. I did incorporate some other sheets, which will be in another series. I used some of the sidebar from the add-ons up here. If you need just 2 sheets, those would be -1, which gives you your headers, your dates, a graph which fits over this section. You have 2 boxes that you can cover up the habits with. You get washi for the top over here, 3 thinner strips of washi, checklists, and your habit trackers. And then for your labels, you have what I call halvesies and full width stickers that go all the way from column edge to column edge. And then you have a thicker label option widthwise. So if you use an Erin Condren weekly dashboard, you need -1 and -2. Let's move into daily planning with Erin Condren. If you are in the daily duo, you will want to pick up your 7x9 monthly kit that I went over at the beginning. And then there are some sheets that you can use specifically for the daily duo layout. And then I have some extra recommendations from there that I think work well in this layout. I'm going to show you the daily duo that I have first, which is the 7x9 size. Erin Condren also makes the daily duo in the A5 size, and the sheets are obviously very similar, but we'll go over the 7x9 size first. For this first page in the daily duo, you have like a blank page, and then this is what I call a week at a glance. That's where I kind of want to share those extra sheets because I think they are perfect for this specific planner. So you will have an option on the Plannerkate website for week at a glance and the notes companion sheet, which are I1, I2, and I3. I1 is the A5 week at a glance, which we'll go over with the A5 size sheets. But I2 is this weekly sticker sheet. This is one large sticker. And for me, sometimes I don't want to take the time to set up individual stickers for this page. So I would just plop this down right there on that page. It's a full size sticker, 7x9 size. So it covers literally the entire page in one sticker. Super easy to put down. And it's a little bit different layout, obviously, than what's printed in the planner. So if you want a week at a glance in your daily duo, but need something a little bit different, this is a great sheet for that. This notes companion sheet is also perfect for this adjacent page here. So this is I3. You have checklists and labels and flags and larger flags and black and white icons and some trackers for Monday through Sunday. I really like them on this adjacent page here. So that is sheet I3. You can also use this same sheet I3 for the A5 size. So we'll mention that when we get there. So just a little planner tip from me from personal experience on what I would order for the Erin Condren 7x9 daily duo from Kate. Now let's jump into the daily specific kits, which are for these daily pages. So for sheet D1, you have headers, you have your day of the weeks and your dates, and then some little sections. They're really just solid labels that you can put down to create sections within your day, either on the time section or on the to-do section. You can see here what the headers look like in this kit that I used in July. I've also used some of the other sheets here, so I will keep this handy. So on this page, I did use the header and some flags and the decorative labels, and then these solid strips that I mentioned that were right here. So the other option that you have for this daily page is the Daily Duo sampler, which is this DD2. These checklists go perfectly right here. You also have some thin washi, which sometimes I like to balance out my page and put some at the bottom in addition to the headers that I showed you. You get a lot of mixed scripts and black and white icons on this, and this could, last you for the week. So you have the sampler option for the daily page. Then you have some basic labels, and I think the important thing to know about these two sheets, DD3 and DD4, is that DD3 is made to show the time that is printed in the planner. So it will go like right next to the time over to the column edge. Whereas DD4 is made to cover this time, so you won't be able to see it when the sticker's down. DD4 will go from the left edge all the way to the right edge. Just a personal preference on what you like. If you like to see the times, you might stick with the DD3. DD5 are the same size as DD4, meaning they start on the left edge and go to the right edge. They're just a decorative label option. So you have a section of smaller ones and then a few medium ones and then some bigger ones as well. And then for this big bottom box here, you do have sheets A, B, and C. They are all the same size. They're just different prints. So if you wanted to order the same, like let's just say you love the snowflake pattern, you could order several of this sheet for the entire week, or you could order one of each, and then you would have 6 of them to put down here on this open spot. So that is DD 6A, 6B, and 6C. Let's look at what you can do with these bottom box inserts, because you do have a couple of options. I've turned to a page here where I've used a Daily Duo kit. I did not use one of the bottom boxes, so I just want to, kind of show you how that works as well. But you have those 3 options for designs. And then these boxes fit perfectly in this spot. Should probably just grab my January and show you this because I think a visual is better. So let me grab my January half of the Daily Duo. You can put down one of these in this box. What you'll want, if you want an option that goes inside of the decorative box, is DD9B. So these are a little bit smaller than the other sheet I'm going to show you because they're made to fit inside this decorative box. Like that. And then if you do not want the decorative box, but you still want the lines, you are going to want 9A. So these are a little bit bigger and they fill this box completely. So depending on what type of look you want, if you want some decoration, you'll use this combination. If you want just like a plain minimal look, but you need the lines to write on versus just this open blank space that's in the planner, you'll want this other option. So this one was a 9A and this one is 9B. And then this is actually for your week at a glance. Basically, it's sheet DD7. So if you did not like that full page week at a glance that I showed you was another option for this. DD7 is made specifically for this page with the individual days of the week. And then you have your washi strips, thick and thin, some torn washi pieces, checklists that line up perfectly with these checklists, and some basic labels, dash labels, journaling labels. DD8 is the 7x9 checklists that go in these bottom boxes. So if you don't like just the open space, you can put down one of these checklist options and it kind of doubles your checklist on the right here. And that is sheet DD8. And that is going to wrap up the Daily Duo 7x9 sheets. I do not have an A5 Daily Duo, but I'm going to make the same recommendations as far as stickers go. So before I go over the actual sheets from Kate that are made for the A5 Daily Duo, just a reminder that you could use the I1 sheet, which is the A5 Week at a Glance if you needed a different Week at a Glance layout, or you could use the I3 Notes Companion page on the adjacent notes page in the A5 Daily Duo. Works really well there as well. And then let's look at the actual sheets here. So these are, again, like the 7x9 Daily Duo, they're just scaled down to fit the A5 size. So we have sheet A5-1 that have the headers, the days of the week, and the dates. A2 is that sampler page again. A3 and A4 are your labels. Again, A5-3 showing the time in the planner. A5-4 covering the time in the planner. A5 are the decorative labels. And then you do have 3 print options for the bottom box for A, B, and C. You have your A5 Daily Duo Week at a Glance, which is sheet A5-7. And then we wrap up the A5 Daily Duo listing with A5-8, which are those checklists. So lots and lots of different options for the Erin Condren planners that you have. I did just want to recap that the one that's specific for weekly planning are Kate's weekly dashboard kits. If you use the horizontal, the hourly, or the vertical layout, watch video 1 for weekly planning ideas. And D, E, F are checklist sheets which align to the planners. And then my favorite is that functional sheet G that you can use in so many of the different Erin Condren planners, and of course all of the add-ons. All right, that is going to wrap up the Erin Condren specific sheets that Kate offers. Let me know if you have questions about Erin Condren stickers. I can probably help you out there. And I encourage you to watch video 1 if you're an Erin Condren user. And stay tuned for the next video in this 2026 series. We'll be rolling out more videos going over other planners. Thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you back next time.